Tonight we have an array of spooky tales and cryptid myths to tell you. My story begins with three friends, Bob, Jim, and Frank, who are also all archaeologists. And as archaeologists, they were very excited to go to Egypt to be the first one to explore an undiscovered pyramid. They would literally be the first one to step into this pyramid and discover it, and anything they found within the steps would be credited to them. So, with a lot of excitement, they all go to Egypt and enter the pyramid. Dave decides, hey, we should take a photo in front of the pyramid before we take our first step to commemorate this. So they all get in front of the pyramid, they take a photo with a selfie with all three of them, and then they take their steps in. As soon as they take their first step, the door slams right behind them, and they realize they can't go backwards. So, with no choice, they move forward. But before they move into the next room, they see in this little square white room an old brown backpack that looks like it's been there for decades. And so Dave decides to take a look in the bag because why not? It might be useful later on. Or they might have some water or rations for the future. So he opens the bag, and inside the bag, he sees a rope, a pail of water, a flare gun, some pencils, tiny rocks, and cough drops. Very random, various items. And next to the bag, once he picked that bag up, he saw a little sign. And all three of them read the sign together. Heed this plea, lest you fall victim to the curse of three: fire, water, and air. Intruders, beware. With that ominous note, they marched forward, and they entered this huge room that's painted bright red and orange, and inside is literally a torch. They look around the room, make sure there's nothing else that they're missing, trying to see if there's any discoveries or artifacts or worthwhile treasures. Since they're there, they might as well do their job. As they're looking around, Jim goes for the torch to try to see if there's something near the torch, and maybe we might need light. So he grabs the torch, and as soon as he grabs the torch, a ring of fire engulfs the whole room, surrounding them. Poor Jim gets incinerated. As soon as he grabbed that torch, he poof into fire and ash. Now, Dave Dave and Frank are still in the room alive. They're melting, they're burning, it's getting hotter and hotter. The ring of fire is closing onto them. They don't know what to do. They just saw their best friend, one of their best friends, just perish. Dave, having the smart idea, looks into the bag, starts pulling things out. What is this? A pencil? I don't know how that's gonna help. Rocks? He doesn't know what to do. He sees the pale water. Desperate to do anything, he throws that little pail of water into the fire, and just like magic, the fire diminishes. And with the fire diminishing, it revolved, it revealed a secret passage. Heartbroken in grief over their friend's death, they move forward because they want to respect Jim's wishes. Jim would have wanted them to continue and move forward. So that's what they did. Dave and Frank move on to the next room. This room, though, was very damp and blue. It was large, just as large as the first room. They take a look around more carefully this time, not to touch anything because they were afraid of releasing any more traps. As they're walking around trying to see where the next door is, Frank unfortunately steps on a trap door and falls into a vat of water, and immediately it drowns. And as soon as that vat door opened, more water starts gushing into the room where Dave is, and he's getting close, higher and higher and higher. It's getting to his neck. He can barely keep his head up above water. And again, he doesn't know what to do. He has less than seconds before this whole room is filled. He looks into the bag again. He pulls out he pulls out the flare gun, the pencil. There's nothing that could help him. But in his moment of despair, he notices a very tiny window that he could barely fit above there. So he takes the rope, make a lasso, and rolls it around and tosses it up into the window. Ah, he missed. It falls down. He tries it again, one more time. Now the water's up to his nose and he's blowing bubbles. Toss it with the last bit of energy. It cuts on and he managed to climb up the rope into the window and into the next room. He's saved. But in the back of his mind, he's thinking, why? What is going on? And then he remembers the curse that they read. First fire, then water, and now air. And what in the world could the curse of air be? And he's trembling. He's scared now. He just watched his two very best friends perish right in front of him. And so, with very trepid steps, he walks slowly down this dark corridor. It's not a room anymore, it's just a blank corridor, and it seems like it goes one way. And again, he can't go back into the other room because it's filled with water. So he moves forward and he walks. And because he's alone, his walks echo step, 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 step. But when he stops walking, the steps continue. Step, step. Wait a minute. Those aren't my steps. Is that an echo? He walks again. Step, 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 step. But he stopped walking, but the steps continue. Step, step, step. Now he's getting really anxious. He's like, something or someone is here. I don't know what. So he starts walking a little bit faster. Step, 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 step. The steps behind him start walking faster. Step, 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 step. He goes into a jog. Step, 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 step. The steps behind him gets into a jog. Step, 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 step. Now he's running full fast. Step, 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 step. And the steps behind him goes fast. Step, 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 step. And he's running. He reaches dead end. He takes out a flashlight from his pocket. He flashes around. He doesn't see anything. He sees a dead end. He looks around, and right behind him, he felt a hand grab him. He looks. There's nothing there. He turns around. There's a mummy! And the mummy's coming closer and closer and closer to him. He's saying, no, this is the curse of the air. The mummy's gonna get me. What do I do? What do I do? He's dragging his limp step by slow step by slow step towards Dave and the dead end. And he is sobbing and crying. He is knows this is the end of him. There's nothing left, but he remembers the backpack. So, what does he have left? He still has a flare gun. He takes out the gun and says, stop, stop, stop. He shoots the flare gun. Nothing happens. The mummy continues. He takes out the pencil. He looks at it. He just tosses it. Of course, the pencil does nothing. He looks at the bit of rocks. He pegs the rock one at a time, and they just plink off the mummy. Plink, plink, plink. And the mummy doesn't stop. And the mummy is literally 2 feet away from Dave. He takes out the last item in his back, which are a couple of cough drops. He looks at it and said, what the heck, and just closes his eyes and tosses it at the mummy. And poof, the mummy vanishes. Dave looks around astonished, thinking the mummy just disappeared. Or maybe he'll come back and get him. He's looking around. He doesn't know what happened. But as he's looking around, he sees on the corner of his eye, on the left side, a door that's open. He rushes out the door and escapes the pyramid. Now, as the sole survivor of this new undiscovered pyramid, Dave has had much success. His names are in all the scientific newsletters and papers, and he's managed to go on sorts of talks and talk about his adventures. And it wasn't until 10 years later, when he looked at the photos, he realized why the mummy disappeared. On the photo, on top of the entrance of the pyramid, there was a scripture that he didn't realize was there. He translated it. And on there, it said, the mummy needs something for his coffin.